Mm, Good morning, collective. Uh, this case is just so. This case is so crazy. We'll get into it. I was just in the energy of it. Yeah, I was in the energy of the axinomancy. Excuse me a minute. Spirit just said axinomancy. AXINOMANCY. The heck is that? Let me try to say it. Axinomancy. Accidental Nancy. Okay. AXINOMANCY. A form of divination that involves interpreting the movements of an axe, usually unbalanced on a post or thrust into a wooden surface. It just goes to show you could divinate anything because everything's energy. So that's interesting. I don't know why. I've never seen the necrometer say that. Let me just do one more of these. Hello, collective. Thank you for tuning into my channel. My name is Patience. I'm your favorite spirit medium, host of Spirit News on all major platforms. If you want to know more in-depth metaphysical, spiritual, universal information, we put longer, more in-depth, more structured knowledge over there on Spirit News, where we get higher perspectives of linear views. 222. The year 2022, man, had so much things happen in it. I don't know why that keeps coming up for me. 222. Hit the like button if you keep hearing 222. If you keep seeing it. If you're gonna start seeing it now, probably I put it in your awareness. But thank you for being here. Thank you so much for all the love and support that we get. We are so grateful to be here, co-creating with you in this magical way. We are very grateful to have this gift. Yes, Spirit is here with us too. My very own Spirit team, the Guild of the Golden Triangle, Mish, Mirabelle, and Mantis. They are my own Spirit team. Everybody has a Spirit team. We have been developing our relationship with them and cultivating it over the past 4 or 5 years intentionally with purpose. They have taught me how to get into a heart space, and we share that. Hello from England. Thank you for being here. Good morning or good evening. I don't know what time it is over there. It's 6:23 here in the morning. So, oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, we wanted to get into this case today because how what another benefit of being in touch with our spiritual gifts if we can understand from a higher perspective things that are hidden. And Spirit always says to reveal is to heal, to reveal to heal, reveal to heal. So we can't really heal things in the collective consciousness that are hidden from us. And so we don't infringe on anyone's free will because that is against cosmic law, against God's law. Hello, Pennsylvania. And oh, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, 11:23 in the morning. Okay. Yeah, that's that's ahead of us. We don't infringe on anyone's free will. That's a cosmic law, and that can come down to the smallest of decisions, and including manipulation. We don't need control over anything. We have gone past that level of learning. We've learned that lesson in 444 on the clock, so we have released that. And I don't know why it's important to say that. Maybe it's going to apply to the situation. If you guys aren't familiar with the trust your instincts. Thank you, Spirit. Spirit said to trust your instincts. We use this platform to develop our spiritual abilities and hopefully actually help certain situations. So we've always been interested in mysteries of all kinds, um, and we are happy to help. We're happy to help in any way. How is spiritual energy believed to influence or attract sexual desire or lust in various metaphysical or esoteric traditions? I don't know. Maybe that has to do with this situation with the Karen Reed and the Jonathan O'Keefe mystery. Um, I don't know why. I don't know why you asked that question, but thank you for having a question. That's awesome to question everything. Maybe something about sexual desires will come up. Um, I'm not sure. So we'll see. I don't know. Um, but right now I don't think it's super relevant, but we'll see if it comes up later. I did write some notes that could possibly have to deal with someone cheating. Possibly. I don't know. We'll see what comes out. Here on my channel, we don't use tarot cards. We don't use tarot cards. Billy, welcome back. I love that you're here, Billy. Welcome back. I love you so much. I love you. I know that if you're here, there's something for you, and you come back every weekend, and that's why I haven't blocked you yet. So, thank you for being here, but you gotta be good. If you're not gonna be a good boy, I'm gonna get you out of here. Okay? I love you so much. So, we don't use tarot cards. Spirits taught me how to. Spirit says energy is everything, and you don't even need anything physical to read energy. But until I feel, I'm using it to learn what energy is like to be interpreted for me. It's different for everybody, but it also makes it really fun for you guys to know where the information's coming from and how I'm gathering it. So I want it to be fun for you guys too, and I want you to see that it doesn't have it. Tarot cards, crystals, anything that you're doing divination with is just a medium in which to read energy, and you don't actually need it to read energy because you are energetic, you are electromagnetic, and it's just like when you are painting, you can use your fingers to paint, and I'm sure a lot of people do, but you do also have tools that you can use to touch the paint to the canvas. So it's kind of like the same thing with reading energy. And it's not the cards or the crystals that are evil. It's not the act of reading that information that's evil. It's the person, it's the human, it's the soul and their intention and why they're doing it. Are you doing it to spy on people, to make money, to manipulate people, to try to look ahead in the future and plan your life that way? There's you have to be responsible when you are able to read energy. So you have to be in a heart space to do that, because once you're in a heart space, instead of in your mind or your root chakra, the heart is the seat of the soul. And so once you come from a place of compassion and empathy, you will want to use those abilities for good instead of for your own selfish needs. Anything that you're using divination for when it comes to your own needs is a no-no. There's nothing that you need to use divination for yourself. There's nothing to gain unless you want to be of service. If it just feels good to be of service, and that's where we're at in our journey. And so I don't know, something about free will keeps coming up. Something about free will, and free will is people infringe on people's free will all the time, and I'm gonna explain it on the smallest of scales, okay? So you can understand how it happens, um, and and it's a problem, and there could be something with free will with this situation. Um, If you guys aren't familiar with this case, it's ongoing. There's they're on their second trial. The first trial was a mistrial. Karen Reed is the girlfriend of John O'Keefe. John O'Keefe is the victim here, who lost his physical life. He's transitioned, so we're going to get his point of view. But basically, in a nutshell, to catch you up, um, there were cops. Okay, they were cops in New England, which I'm in Rhode Island, literally 45 minutes from Boston. Um, and there's a controversy because of the involvement of the multiple witnesses affiliated with the Boston Police Department. One of them being Brian Albert, who was also, he's a retired Boston Police Sergeant. And he is the owner of the house in which John O'Keefe was found outside of, that he went to the previous night after drinking at a few bars. He was also on a 2013 reality TV show, Boston's Finest. And in the early morning hours of January 29th, 2022, Boston police officer John O'Keefe was found dead outside the home of Brian Albert in Canton. And he was found by his girlfriend, Karen Reed, who is on trial. Reed had dropped O'Keefe off at the Albert residence the night before and had not heard from him since. Reed was subsequently arrested and charged with second-degree murder, manslaughter, motor vehicle homicide, and leaving the scene of a deadly crash. Prosecutors alleged that Reed hit O'Keefe with her SUV and left the scene. But Reed is saying that she never hit John O'Keefe, and this is a mass, what is the word they use? They're some kind of I don't know why I can't think of it. Oh my god, why can't I think of the word? I'm having a brain fart. Basically, that they're trying to blame it on Karen, and that they planted the headlight, and that the injuries, what really sticks out to me is John O'Keefe's injuries. His injuries are not what would be reminiscent of being hit by a car. You'd have to be hit by a car pretty hard to get the injuries that he got, but even still, the scratches on his arm and there's no, we did a read with oh my gosh. We did a read last week with Pressgrove. What was his first name? Something Pressgrove. Noah. Thank you. So, thank you. Sorry. With Noah Pressgrove, and they're trying to say that he got hit by a car. But you guys, when you get hit by a car, I have witnessed somebody get hit by a car, and the injuries, the actions, the what it looks like doesn't look like that, and like these injuries. Um, in my opinion, and so we have to question, you know why you have to follow the case, because there's so many discrepancies with the information of what they're saying is true and what they're saying is not. So what a fabulous opportunity to get John O'Keefe's point of view. Why not? Why can't we try? So we're going to find out. I have lots of questions. In the year 2022, I swear to God, so many weird things happen in the road. And I only know that from doing the readings. Aaron Carter, the Idaho 4, John O'Keefe. I think it's John, not Jonathan. So we're going to see. We're going to see what comes out. Maybe we can help find some bits of information. Oh, there was a song too. That song was by, let me get it. It was Amber Mark didn't know what love was. Bliss. There we go. Bliss. Here we go. So the song is by Amber Mark Bliss. Conversation, sexual tension, taking me to new dimensions, outer space, nights at my place, you teaching me things I never knew. I crush, don't have to leave a bruise. Um, I didn't know what love is till I found my bliss. Came out the blue like shit that hits. Like shit that hits. All I really want to do is stop time. Didn't really plan on getting this high. Downstairs my apartment, met you, now I'm fallen. Known I've been through the gauntlet, at times I've been heartless. Might be over my hardships, I still listen to hard shit. Meet me in the garden, right back where we started. I never knew all the lyrics to that song. I just kind of knew the hook. It's a good song. I told you there's something about cheating, sexual tensions between two people. I don't know who, and we'll find out, but someone could have been cheating with somebody in that house that they went to, or planning on it, or flirting, or something like that. Some kind of sexual tension. Some kind of sexual tension. I don't know if it was John. I don't know if it was Karen. I don't know. Let's march for math. Because the math ain't mathin'. I know, I agree. So, doesn't this remind you of like a brigade? Like some kind of police brigade, you know, when they have like the parades and the police will be on their horses marching around. Also, a knight on a white horse. Some kind of, there's an M on his chest. There's an M on his chest. Oh, let me see. Transformations. So the first person out the gate, Spirit's showing me, is somebody who thinks they're hot shit, who thinks they're untouchable, who thinks they're above the law, above everyone else, who thinks that they glide through life. They have some kind of purple robe on or on their lap or something, which is odd. That's very detailed. They also they're being led by two cronies, two henchmen that follow them, that feel like they're in the inner circle. The inner circle, look at, there's a circle on the ground. Some kind of inner circle, some kind of group of people who think that they are untouchable. That, look, this guy has a magnifying glass, like a detective. This could be brothers. This could be brothers or at least close friends or people who are close to each other, that are in an inner circle, that think they're untouchable, that have some, this is a purple cloak, that cloak themselves in some kind of, an ominous event is near. in some kind of, they shroud things, they hide things. He's hiding his leg, and his leg is up. They hide things for ways that they get a leg up in situations. They feel untouchable. Okay? This guy's riding on a high horse. He thinks that nothing can happen to him, that he's above the law. Okay? Something about animals, and also, uh, something, I didn't say it, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but these three gentlemen could possibly not be very book smart. Um, just kind of animalistic, very in their reptilian mind, and in their root chakra, just very like survival based, very instinctual, very just like survival mode. Um, there's a clock on the wall, and a window and a door. A window and a door. School is fun. Peanuts. There's another magnifying. There's another magnifying glass. That's two rituals of the occult. Well, I don't know if this is indicating what they were doing that night or what they do in a room with one window and one door. This door has a red doorknob. Like I said, root chakra. It's like each animal is doing their own thing. Is like each person has the role they play, the thing that they do, the thing that they're good at, the thing that they're relied on to do. And this magnifying glass is here twice. Someone could be a detective. One of these people could be a detective, because of a magnifying glass, I think of a detective. What about it? Tell me more about this group of people. This could have been the house that night he went to it. Beware of tricky cats. Beware of tricky cats. Another animal reference. There's something about animals. Beware of tricky cats. There might have been a reason that John was invited over late at night to this house. They were doing something. They were looking into something. Or planning something that John didn't like. Delete. This person on a white horse, this person who thinks they're above the law, may have invited John O'Keefe over to this house with multiple people that were for something. What was the plan here? Why did they invite John over? They're trying to play a trick on him. They're trying to play a trick on him. In what capacity? Hmm. Tension. Hmm. Something messy. Something messy. Fears. Something that was messy. I have a moose painting on this picture, and I have a little boy and a little girl painting, but the little boy's making a mess and the little girl is not. Something messy. Something about a clock too, about timing. Something about a group of people. Something about a group of people. Here's the guy on the white horse right here. They have the same energy. Somebody who thinks they're above the law, somebody who thinks they're hot shit, that they're exalted, and they get treated that way. There's a group of people that treats this person that way. I'm going to get one more picture card, and then I'd like more clarity about this group of people that tried to trick John. Why did they try to trick him? Yeah, it's like the good old boys. You know, Dalmatians are a symbol of firefighters, but in this case, it's the cops. This is something they wanted to take down. They could have possibly planned on jumping John or doing something to John. This was something that was planned or done on purpose. I have the number 12 or a 1 or a 2, which this was, he was found in the snow in January. There's something about a couple being in a den, in a predator's den or something, or being with people who have predatory characteristics. They're very manipulative, they're very shady, they hide information, they're very secretive, they have a lot to hide. They've done things to get a leg up that are very secretive. Alright, what else? Tell me more. What have they done to get a leg up? What have they done to get a leg up? What are some things that they've done to get a leg up that are secretive? A soulful rendition of Old Man River. They've sent men up the river. They've sent men up the river. They've probably hurt people before to get a leg up. in whatever they do. $5 footlongs, my beautiful log. $5 footlongs, my beautiful log. They could have possibly done, they could have possibly been with men. They could have possibly experimented with men or same sex. Not that anything's wrong with that, but I don't think that this person would want anyone to know that. This particular person. Because they're a clown. Because they're a clown. They could possibly steal from charity. Italians. I don't know if they're Italian, but could possibly do with something with a restaurant. Something with a restaurant. Bearded Italians. I don't know if one of these people, there's three main men, and they're in an inner circle. One of them is some kind of predator, someone who's very tricky, someone who's manipulates things to make it make sense for them, someone who is on a high horse, who thinks that they're untouchable. There's something about a boys club, the good old boys club, that do underhanded things to get a leg up. They have like meetings about an individual that they view as being very innocent, like a goody two shoes, like someone who's not corrupt, and possibly a female that is associated with the goody two shoes, that they want to indisputably that they want to corner, they want to target, they want to intimidate them in some form or fashion. Because this goody two-shoes could possibly not play by their rules. Could not play by their rules. He does his own thing. He's not interested in being a part of this circle. Going to shake a guy's hand, noticing that his hand is a fish and pretending not to notice that his hand is a fish. Yeah, so John could have known certain things that this group of gentlemen do to get a leg up, to receive underhanded things that they do to manipulate documents and computer work, and this could be an office, you know? This could be an office where there's animals doing office work, but really they're being, you know, they have their hand in everything. Like they have the ability to control animals or something. People who are in that energy to be to take money, or to in survival mode, to take money, to you know, hey, I'll give you a promotion if you change these documents a little, or hey, I'll slide you a few grand if you just, you know, don't put my name on this paperwork, or you know, stuff like that. Stuff like that. Okay. What else? John could have known some things. Using parametric statistics when the data are clearly not from a normal distribution. I told you, the data is different than what is statistically known about these people. It doesn't, the math ain't mathin'. Let's march for math. The math ain't mathin'.
Criminal insanity.
Criminal insanity. Oh, the end of it. Spirit said this is the end of them. I told you, Domino's Oreo dessert pizza. There's something about a pizza joint or something. Some about a pizza joint, $5 footlongs. Someone at a restaurant. I don't know if someone in this equation owns a restaurant, but beefing over turf. Beefing over turf.
Jokes. Sandra.
What else? What is this beef over a turf? They could have been beefing over something. Something about a fishy deal. Something about a fishy deal. Bigfoot. Bigfoot. Something controversial, something that no one would believe, something that makes this person a monster, something that
Olivia.
Bigfoot. Blue. Why did they invite you over to the house that night? What was their plan? Temperamental. Somebody was short-tempered. Somebody was moody and irritable. Short-tempered. They were a monster. They are a monster. So what happened when you went into the house? There's too many. What happened when you went into the house? When Karen dropped you off, what happened? Oh, these fell on the floor. Complicated and earthy, unrefined, natural, and crude. Complicated. Difficult, complex, involved. Five involved. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I got 5 people here. There could be 5 people involved in this complicated, difficult, complex, involved, crude, unrefined, temperamental. Hiroshima. I become death, the destroyer of worlds. J. Robert Oppenheimer. On the detonation of the first atomic bomb. Something blew up. Something blew up. Because there was temperaments flying, people were moody, something was complicated. Something Bigfoot, something mysterious, something controversial. Hiroshima, something that blew up, massive, everything, the big it, huge, massive, that big. What is it? Something blew up everything. He must have found out something. He must have walked in and found out something. What did you find? Cary Grant. British-born American actor known for his debonair manner, can be found north by northwest under Bigfoot. Grant. Cary Grant. I don't understand what you're saying right there. I don't understand what you're saying with Cary Grant. Mice. The best laid schemes of mice and men. Oh, you're Cary Grant. I gotcha. You're Cary Grant. You're Cary Grant pretending not to notice Bigfoot or a fishy deal going wrong. Something about a fishy deal with mice and men that was complicated amongst temperamental men. Something blew up. Something blew up that was big. What was it? X-rays. X-rays were discovered by the German physicist Wilhelm Conrad. Now, if they could just get those X-ray glasses down. So John saw something. He saw something that was complicated, unrefined, and crude, that blew up his universe. It was like a bomb. Something that he discovered when he went into the house. Something he discovered when he went into the house. What did you discover? Clowns. I have clowns twice. They would be really funny if they weren't so darn scary. I have, and that came right above Ronald. Clowns. Unrefined, crude clowns. $5 footlongs. Beautiful log. What? Don't even tell me that is what happened. I have to say this for legal purposes. This is entertainment only. I cannot prove any of this. This is all alleged. I'm just reading energy. I don't know if this is true. John could have possibly, when he got dropped off at his friend's house and Karen Reed drove away, he could have possibly walked in on something happening that this group of people or these three people didn't want anyone to know, and it could be something sexual with each other. I don't know that for sure, but they were drunk, they were partying. It's like Hiroshima, and it would be the end of their universe. It's something that they don't want anyone to know, something that's like a Hiroshima bomb. Okay? I don't know if it's for sure that. We'll keep going. Meat cleavers. No relation to Ward June or the beaver. Meat cleavers. Whatever he saw, whatever he walked in on, blew up. It blew up. It was complicated. He discovered something that he saw through, something that was difficult to believe, something that caused something with men and mice. Let me get a couple more of these. And my bank account in reverse. Speaking of theoretical mathematics and unreal numbers, again, there's the math. It's talking about math again. Something about math. My bank account. Speaking of theoretical mathematics and unreal numbers. What is this what is this Hiroshima bomb that's complicated? What did you discover? Michael. What did you discover? If you were a household appliance, what would it be?
Definitely.
So they were using someone?
Presumably.
Presumably. They were using him. He found out they were using him. What did you discover? Something about using a bank account or receiving funds, some kind of funds for something. What's the worst advice you ever received? Who would be braver at a haunted house? During sex, who is more likely to say, I'm not putting that in my mouth? I don't want to say that. I don't want to say that. I don't know if it's that. I hope to God it's not that. Oh. Let me clarify before I say anything. I don't really want to. So, John came over to this house after a night of drinking. Karen didn't want to go in. She went home for whatever reason. John went into the house and may have walked in on something or witnessed something or asked to be a part of something that could have been sexual in nature with a group of people. It could have been like some kind of orgy or something, or 2000s, but that also included men and women, and possibly a minor. It could have involved a minor, possibly, maybe like a teenager, and illuminate, revealing the truth, confession, shedding light, foresight, and it's upside down, so in the past. He could have been illuminated to it matching up, it mathing with things that they've done in the past, this group of people or this exalted person who holds themselves above everybody, who thinks they're untouchable. They could have done a lot of cover-ups, and John could have known about this, but he just turned a blind eye, and something came up. Releasing, letting go, walking away. Something came up that night where he walked into the house and saw that this group of people was at it again, doing the same old shit they said they didn't do, that they covered up. They claimed that they weren't a part of something that they were involved in before, that they got away with or something. Spirit, protected aura, divine intervention, guardian angel, shielding. Yeah, John, like I said, John is not down with that. He's not down with that. So
Southwest.
he could have chose to walk away. He's like,
I'm here with you.
he saw what he saw and then he wanted to walk away, but that wasn't going to happen. That wasn't going to let, they weren't going to let him walk away after what he witnessed or saw, because he knew that he would come back to somebody, a union in reverse. Pursuit, chasing, resilient, hunting down. So when he turned to walk away, they grabbed him because they were doing something with minors, possibly something that they've done in the past that was covered up, something that was covered up, something that was manipulated or made to look like they weren't involved or they had nothing to do with it. He knew about this, but he turned a blind eye to it and pretended like it wasn't happening. But even though he knew the truth about it, and when he walked into the house and saw, possibly in a room with one window and one door, that this was happening, it was something that he didn't want to stick around for, that he didn't want to be a part of. So he chasing again, toxicity. So they went. So as soon as he walked away, they pursued him, and they basically had to stop him from revealing any truth because they were afraid that he would tell possibly the person he was in union with. Um, so they had to detach him. Um, So what happened? Obsession, holding on, clinging, can't let go. So they're afraid to let him go on his own because they knew that he could possibly reveal what they were doing. Um, they're doing something sexual, possibly with a minor and animals. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just. I know that sounds crazy, but I mean, look what's happening with P. Diddy. I
The
mean,
back of his
is it
throat.
that crazy? I mean, the people are doing these things for
Psychological influence.
necromancy and stuff. So it's like, I don't know. Is it crazy? It's crazy to me because I just would never do that. But all right, well, if they're doing something sexual in the basement, okay, with possibly a minor, a teenager. This is something that they've been known to do before in the past or be associated with in the past. Yeah, friendships. So they're worried about him separating themselves from them and knowing their business. So they had to do something about that. So they could have possibly used a hammer. I have axe and hammer. So I don't know if they used a blunt force item to hit them over the head with. Um, because they wanted to prevent him from leaving. They could have, someone could have also been cheating. And they realized there's a lot of things going on here, a lot of dangerous activity that this group of people were doing. So he tried to make a quick exit, but they held him back. They overpowered him. And he didn't have any protection. There was nobody there to protect him. He thought these people were his friends, and they weren't his friends, because not one person protected him. Because I don't know, they were all involved in something. sneaky, hidden agenda. Something's down low, keeps it on the down low. I told you there's like a group of friends, including males and possibly a couple females, and with what at least one minor, that were having some kind of like sexual party, sex party or something. And John walked in on it, and when as soon as he saw it, he walked away. He's like, "No way, man! I don't want to be a part of that." And when he did, they thought he'd be down, but he wasn't down. He didn't want to be a part of it. This is behavior that matches behavior in the past, and he turned a blind eye to it, but he wasn't gonna do it this time. He could have possibly even said, I'm gonna tell, you this is wrong." So, oh, so what else? What else? So they could have possibly used a blunt force tool.
subsidizes,
Yeah, they were doing something in the basement. Tweedledee and Tweedledum came up with a plan. To divert attention away from them to possibly, I don't know, place something somewhere. I have a kite in the bush. I have a bird pushing a dodo bird on top of a toucan, pushing a body outside. So they pursued him, they hunted him down, they grabbed him, they got him. Then what? They spilled blood. There could have been blood on the rug or something about. Look how discolored the cat's head is from their body. They definitely hit the person over the head. Then blood spilled. There could have been blood on the carpet, on a carpet that they got rid of, or that they moved, or there's more look, there's more animals in the backdrop. Something about animals. I don't know why animals are involved, um, or in what way. Um, take me out to the ball game. Yeah, this is like a boys' club. They had
tempestuous skies,
because he walked in on
it
them
carries messages from
having
beyond.
some kind of orgy with someone underage who could possibly have been a boy. And there's also a couple women there. Oh my god, and here's a witch on a broom. I don't know. Unthinkable. I don't know.
A clear understanding,
Spirit said they were doing possibly some kind of sex rituals or just having they were drunk for one thing. They're partying in the basement. There's something that they do in the basement together. It's like some secret boys club with a couple women. There could be two women involved that know about it that are complicit in it. They're trying to lure John into the basement to be part of this thing, and I don't know. Something they don't want anyone to know about. Something they would kill for, to not have it come out. Yeah, they didn't want to open up a can of worms. They didn't want anyone to know about this. They thought that they could get John to agree to it, or to I don't know. But the cat's out of the bag. He was gonna squeal. He was gonna tell, because one of these people has done this before in the past. Whatever they were doing in the basement with a minor, they've done this before. So I don't know if that's helpful. And nowhere in this reading is Karen Reed, is what I'm noticing. Karen Reed has not come out once in this reading. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't think she had anything to do with it, honestly. From what I'm getting in this read, there's something that I'm telling you, these people these people in the police could be involved in Masonic group. I told you they could be Masons. I don't know if they're part of the Masonic temple. They could be, being as old as they are and being in the police for so long. There's 3 people who could possibly either be brothers or could be part of this group. Andrew, don't be a meanie. You're welcome to stay, but you gotta be nice. If you're gonna be disruptive and you're gonna be rude, it's very disrespectful, then I'm gonna get you out, and I don't want to do that, okay? So please be a good boy, alright? Love ya. So, the checkers and the black and white, it's always a reference to some kind of fraternity. It could be Skull and Bones, it could be the Masons, it could be something like that. These people who are high up on the totem pole with the police department could possibly dabble in Masonic rituals. Maybe that's why we have that purple cape over the leg, and the M for magic. Or they think they do. You know, we were watching on Almost False YouTube channel. We were watching him interview a man who is, he's now found Yeshua, but he is divulging the secrets of the Masons and how he got there. And he says that, the Masons don't want, just anybody off the street or in a neighborhood, or just some Joe Schmo with a family on the corner of a nice neighborhood. No, they want your doctors, your lawyers, your police sergeants, your detectives. They want people in high places. So when things start going awry, they have people in the right place to be able to influence whatever direction they want to go in. And so,
Yes.
yes. So John could have walked in on them doing some kind of Masonic ritual that keeps them in some kind of power. I mean, they knew he was coming over, though, so I don't know if John was a part of it, or maybe he participated a couple times and then it wasn't for him. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. But there's definitely Mason ties here, so someone's in the Masons. Okay. All right. So what else? What else do you want us to know? I'm gonna do the dream decoder. Okay. What is your favorite Xanax flavor? Pfft, I don't do Xanax. I never have, and I never will. I've seen what that drug does to people, and it is scary. Shadow. Shadow hero trickster. Shadow hero trickster. I told ya. Someone who acts like they're a hero, who thinks they're some kind of hero, but really they live in their shadow and they're a trickster. Someone had showed their unpleasant dark side of themselves, the part that they try to repress and hide. They were acting out of character that night. They were in their shadow. Something that they haven't acknowledged about themselves yet to integrate. Which, if you want to listen to our podcast on Spirit News about soul integration, it's something that's very important on this journey from going from the head to the heart. If you're ignoring the shadow parts of yourself, they will get bigger until you learn the lesson from them. So that panda can be a reference to child abuse and other references. I definitely, when I see a lot of animals and when I see this card, to me, it represents rituals, fraternities or orders or the Masons or Masonic Temple or something, and animal sacrifices. And it's usually what they're doing to um, use that energy to manipulate energy because they don't understand energy. Is usually what I get from that card.
Faucet.
And that could include many other,
Surely.
surely, many other uh, things that lead to abuse of animals, children, humans, women, anyone. Trickster. They attempted to prevent him from achieving his goal by putting an obstacle in his way. This trickster is some kind of teacher or finds themselves to be some kind of teacher, and they were frustrated that no matter how many times they tried to make John invaluable, they proved to be worthwhile. So there's some kind of competition here. They would deliberately sabotage his chances and create fear um, to fail at being successful. Competition. There's some kind of competition. Um, mm. So the confrontation that blew up when John walked in on them and saw whatever he saw, they could have used that against John to make John not go talk. They could have said, "Well, I'm gonna make it so you don't climb the ranks at the police department, or I'm gonna ruin your reputation, or whatever they used against him." And he was the hero. He said, "Do whatever you want. I'm gonna say what you're doing down here. I'm gonna tell them all the secrets that I know about you." And so that's why he walked away and he became the hero. But something blew up. Something blew up. This person was arrogant. He was self-deluding and condescending, and he chased John out the house and brought him back in. And what did he do to him then? Triangle. They could have surrounded him. They could have surrounded him and combined their power and took power over him.
When the air is thick. A grim reminder.
Yeah, in the house. They did it inside the house and then they put him outside. So it started in the home. What they need to do is get a search warrant. They need to get a warrant to do something in the basement to find some kind of blood stains, because John was beat up in the basement or in a room that has one window and one door. So, and there's a carpet. There's a carpet that is significant that could have been taken out or something or replaced, some kind of carpeting, something like that. What else? All right. Well, we know that it wasn't Karen. Whoever's at the house has something to hide. I would look into their ties with any Masonic lodge that's nearby. I would also look into getting a search warrant for that house to test the basement floor. There's something about a carpet that was either removed or that needs to be tested. There's something about animals. I don't know. Something about animals.
It's an evil spirit.
You could look at purchase history for any kind of animal houses or farms where you can purchase, pigs, cows, chickens, things like that. I would check that out. There's also something about one of these people. There's possibly three that are brothers that have a history. One could have a restaurant, one could be a detective, and one is some kind of magician or something, or part of the Masonic Masons. Have an inner circle. They think they're untouchable. I would check out their history because one of them has a history of being with minors. And whoever that person is the person who has an uncontrollable temper, who is on the down low, who doesn't want anyone to know. And that could be one of many things that John found out that night. That they were doing something with animals, something with minors, and something with money. Okay, that's what I got. So, John, what's the lesson here? What is the lesson? What are you thinking the lesson is? What would you do now differently? Freedom through faith. I calm my thoughts and rise above fear. I free myself of all doubt by entrusting my doubts to God. I have faith in God's perfect timing and placement. I trust His will and find.
To my destination.
I never made it to my destination. He was scared of this group of people. He was scared of them because he knew in the past that they had done such shady things to get away with stuff, and he knew that whatever they were threatening him with to stop him from leaving or talking were to be true. And so he was acting out of fear, and so he tried to get away, but he feared that they were going to ruin his reputation and ruin his life. And so he didn't, and he had no one there to protect him. He had no one there to protect him. He thought that these friends were his friends, but really they didn't care about him. Fertility in reverse. He may have found out that these people purposely did things to hold him back from receiving certain positions, from knowing certain information, from moving on from where he was, because, yeah, sacral chakra, dynamic, because they knew he was dynamic and that he was a good-hearted person and that he wasn't like them. And so they purposely would hold him back because they knew he knew stuff about them, and they never really truly offered him true friendship. He should have, he had an unbearable cross to bear. He knew secrets about them, and he thought by protecting these people's secrets that it would get him to some kind of level of success. But really, it held him back because they claimed that they would help him, but really they held him back because he knew their secrets. Allowance in reverse. Yeah, they were gatekeepers of him. They were gatekeepers because he knew secrets about them.
when I
Um,
was here.
and he thought that by keeping their secrets, he could get elevated. But really, in reality, because he knew their secrets, they held him back. Dog was rehomed. There was a dog. Some are saying the basement has been redone and ground pool dug up in household. Right, yes, and the black and white floors, I gotcha. Yeah. Um, well, if that's true, if they sold them, it's for a reason. It's because there's some kind of evidence there that they don't want to be implicated with. So if they, I mean, it's since 2022, if that's true, they sold the house. Why would you redo the basement? Why would you have to redo the basement around that time and then resell the house? I don't know. I don't know. That's weird. So something happened in the basement. There's definitely going to be, and just so you know, you can't clean blood up like that. So there will still be traces of blood if there is blood there. But relationships are assignments. Yeah, what he sees now is that he thought that he was protected. He thought he was protected by the shady, underhanded methods of these predatory characters because he kept their secrets. But really, by keeping their secrets, he really was kept, and they kept making him feel like, yeah, you're part of the club, and we'll get you in, and you can do anything you want, and we'll protect you. But really, that's not true because he knew what they were doing, and he was the one person that didn't want to be involved. And so he thought that by keeping secret it could keep him out, but once he witnessed what was happening, then it was all in. And when he chose in that moment to not be part of that, that sealed his fate. And he sees now in retrospect he should have played the game to leave, like to be able to when you whatever they were doing in the basement was so shocking. It was Hiroshima. It was Hiroshima. It was the Big Bang. It was something that was like so outside of his comfort zone and his realm of reality that he acted out of fear. And he wasn't thinking clearly. He was drinking. He was not ready to handle the situation correctly. If he had just went in there, played the game, possibly have witnessed something he didn't want to witness, he decided to not participate. And in not participating, not that you have to participate to get to get away from it, but it took his life. What really got him in this situation is that he thought that these people were his friends to begin with. He should have never went to that house that late at night. Nothing good happens after midnight. Nothing good happens after midnight. There's no reason for you to go to these old guy's house after midnight, after a night of drinking at 2 in the morning. There's no reason. He should have just went home. He knew that these people do things that are weird, that he doesn't agree with, that he knows are fishy fish, that he pretends aren't happening, but he went anyway because he was impaired. And so he should have never went in the first place. He should have trusted that whatever they were doing that late at night has nothing to do with him, and he should have just went with Karen home. Flow, yeah. He wasn't following his instincts, the flow. He wasn't following the flow of what felt good. He wasn't choosing kindness. Locked out. Yeah, I know that
Consequence.
him and Karen could have been fighting, so he could have just did this to kind of get at her, like to make her annoyed. Like, well, I'm going in there, even though she didn't want to go in. Maybe she didn't want him to go in. Maybe she had a bad feeling, and out of just to upset her, just to like ruffle her feathers, he could have possibly been like, well, I'm gonna go in anyway, instead of just saying, oh, you're right, we're just being kind of silly. Let's just like call it a night. He decided to take this opportunity to kind of rub it in her face, and she didn't want to go. So there's something about that. There's something about that. Oh, this is a lesson in trying to fit in where you don't belong, where you don't belong. His energy is not like these people, but he thought these people were in places of power that could get him to where he wanted to go. He was a 16-year veteran of the police department, so he knew these people for a long time. So he knows what these people are into, but he's not. It's kind of like turning a blind eye to corruption and being friends with people you know are corrupt. If you know somebody does underhanded things and you have witnessed it and you have seen it and you've seen them cover things up and lie and manipulate situations, why are you friends with them? Do you think that they're going to give you to a place of power or a place of success when they're doing things underhandedly? Why would you want to get success from somebody like that? That's not it's not the way it works. Those are the kinds of people you have to get away from. You can't trust them. You don't want to rely on them for protection and for opportunities when they're all the opportunities they have, they've stolen or lied about or cheated or hurt people to get. Those aren't the kind of people you want opportunities from. This is what happens when you think you're protected by corrupt people. That's the lesson. All right. So now we'll see how it goes. We're going to see how it goes. I think that there's a lot of things if they can get in my humble opinion from my reading, if they can somehow get access to that house, go into the basement, rip up those floorboards, luminol the basement floor, they're going to find his DNA. And that's what I think.
Able clear.
Okay. Well, I love you so much. Thank you for being
You will
here.
never achieve anything.
I love you so much. Thank you. You will never achieve anything. Yeah. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you. Yeah, he was never going to get where he wanted to go with these people. Thank you so much, John O'Keefe, for coming through. We really appreciate your perspective and we hope it helps. Bye.